just going to introduce what a bounce kind of feels like, okay? I'm going to put all of my weight on my right foot. So all of my weight on my right foot. And all I'm going to do is bend my knees. And when I do, I want to bring my pelvis towards the front of the ball of my right foot. So I want to bring it and straightening it back up. So I'm bouncing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. From a side profile, so you can see, I really want you guys, when you guys do your bounce, you're bringing your pelvis forward and forward. Do not bend your knees to look like you're sitting. This is not the one. This is not the action. When you bend, I want you to bring your pelvis towards the right foot. So it's bend straight, bend straight, bend straight, bend straight. Yeah, so I am actively bending and actively straightening. What actively means is that I actually am trying to relax and lengthen my muscles here. So I'm lengthening and I push away. So I push my legs and I push it down, and that's how I stand up. I just need your knees to go forward and bring your pelvis towards your standing foot. Standing foot is what we call the leg that is holding all of the weight. So if I'm facing you, this is my standing foot because my other foot only has a bit of pressure and it is assisting me for balance. Yeah, so I'm not split weight. Split weight would be both feet down. I am on one foot and I am bouncing 2, 3, 4. And now we can switch it to the other side. So for you guys, it'll be your left foot and you're doing the same thing, bringing that pelvis, bending that knee, going 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to do 4 and 4. Ready? Starting with our right foot. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a really good warm-up technique that I use to warm up my hips and my legs and my feet. Yeah, just so I can kind of get what the samba bounce feels like. This bouncing kind of action going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I want the focus to be more on the down than the up. Reason being is because I don't want your samba to be bouncing up. Yeah, so I don't want you to hop. I want you to be sinking down. So the down is the heavy, the up is just pushing, push. But I want the heaviness to be on the down. So you'll notice the way that we're counting samba. We count 1, 2. It's a 3/4, quarter 1 timing. It is a syncopation, so it is fast. But all of the solid counts are always down. So if you notice, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a very important exercise, and I hope you guys all use this as your warm-up going forward. Whenever you're thinking samba, what's the first thing I need to think about samba? Samba bounce, samba bounce, samba bounce. And when you do, yet again, I'm going to reiterate this hundreds of times because this is what I see the most often when I'm at any event and I'm watching people dance their samba. The number one mistake they make is that they bend and their butt goes back. Yeah, I don't want that. We want the pelvis to come underneath. It needs to tuck underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next thing we're going to do together, so that's just the basic samba bounce. This is just a practice step. Sometimes you'll see people starting the routine like that just for them to understand, to get the bouncing action in. I am a male dancer, so I tend to start everything on my left foot. Just know, please follow it the way I'm showing you now to practice at home. Understanding that if you are normally a follower, you normally just start with the back half with your right foot going back. but I'm just going to start just for simplicity's sake for everyone to join me with their left foot going forward, okay? So what we want to do with our first step, we're going to start with the Samba Basic. When I go, I'm going to go with my left foot going forward on 1. The next step I'm going to put is my right foot together, except for I'm not going to put any weight on it. I'm just going to put the ball of the foot down, and I stand up slightly and then back down. Notice how I don't put the heel of my right foot down. It doesn't come down. It is just 1. I spend a little bit more weight, just enough so I can replace my weight on my left foot. So the timing of this is 1, 2. Again, emphasizing the fact that your right heel does not come down. It has to stay up because it's so fast. The reason why our foot doesn't go down is because the music is too fast. It is a syncopated timing. 1, 2, 3/4, 1/4 timing. Again, 6, 7 together. 1, 2. To finish off that basic, I go with my right foot now going back. 3. The heel can come down now. 3 is a solid count. Now I bring my left foot in for same thing. Heel doesn't come down, and I replace slightly, stand up on it, and I replace my right foot on the floor. When we say replace, it really does mean I have to lift it up and put it down. It has to be able to lift up and come down. So the standing up on this weight, it doesn't have to be full. You don't have to be up here. It just is enough so that I lift my foot and it replaces on the floor. Yeah, so that is very important that you're lifting just enough to lift your standing foot off the floor and replace it. Let's try this basic a few times. 6, 7, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When we're looking at it profile, it looks like this. I will start with my left foot first, going forward on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Most important, as you can see, is when I step on any full count, my knees are bending. Kind of like how we were doing that bounce action. It goes 1 and it bends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it does have that constant bounce that we were talking about at the beginning. This is really going to help, and this is why I find this exercise the most efficient in showing my students this is what your samba should feel like constantly. And that bouncing action is consistent. It never stops going. For those of you that had put up your hand and said, I've never done samba before, please just practice the way that I just showed you. Please practice the way I just showed you. This is just for the people that have danced samba many a times and wants to get a little bit more hip action going. To initiate a little bit more hip action, you have to, when you're doing your step, that is your ball foot, the ball of the step, the ball step. That ball step, when you go for it, you can actually make it 1, and you can use the weight of the floor and your power that you built in your leg to shoot your hip up as you replace. 2. You can also do it when you're going backwards. 3, you're putting your ball of your foot down, and as you straighten it with no heel coming down, it's going to force a bit of your hip to go to the side. Please do not overdo this. You don't need to do a lot. Less is more when it comes to hip action, because I want you to do it from your leg action. That way you're going to produce a very authentic hip action. Don't just move your hips for the sake of moving your hips. Yeah, that aesthetically is not as pleasing, and you don't need to do that much. Yeah, so sometimes when you do too much hip, it's disrupting the rest of your body. Yeah, so please don't overdo it, but if you choose to do it, please just push onto the ball of your foot as you're straightening your leg without your heel coming down. That's what's going to force your hip to pop to the side. It's using the mechanic of your leg to produce a hip action. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To me, your leg action is actually going to create your hip action. If you do it opposite, if you do just hips and your legs aren't doing anything, it doesn't assist in your growth as a dancer. Okay, so we talked about 2 things so far. We talked about your basic bounce action, and we talked a little bit about your Samba Basic. I want to put on some music. I'm gonna try to ride and see now what I can. Here